Basic Instinct. The first watch of February, and it was decent. I enjoyed the noir parts because detective movies are usually a pretty fun time. But the movie describes itself as an erotic thriller, and though it does add to the story, I mean, it is a plot point, the whole erotic sex thing. I'm just not a fan of erotic thrillers, and I do think it takes away from the noir detective story too, which is the better part of the movie. The first hour or so, I was pretty invested, but then it just kept dragging and dragging with the sex, and I just was ready for the finale. I didn't really even enjoy the finale that much, which spoilers, the whole movie they frame the author as the killer, but then there's this new realization that maybe it's this other girl. So then the author was a red herring the whole time. But then the ending shows that it was the author the whole time, and so it's up to interpretation. Long story short, I enjoyed the detective mystery scenes. Everything else, though, not so much. 3 out of 5. Batteries not included.
Batteries not include my ass, dead by dawn.
It was something. Well, first off, it was very heartwarming seeing these robots come together to make the lives of everyone in the building a little bit better. The ending was also very sweet. However, it was very plain. And besides the robots, which add some creativity to the movie, the cast that we follow just kind of watches what the robots do, and then they smile and laugh. Something happens after, and then repeat. I did like most of the cast, even though I'm bashing on them. They had fun personalities to witness throughout the movie. I would say it's just decent. Also, this poor robot had a miscarriage, and you have the balls to make a joke and say batteries not included. What a dickweed.
Batteries not included.
3 out of 5. Big Easy. This movie is actually a sick, perverted fantasy. They had 56-foot shots and had Goatsy about 16 times. It's disgusting. And the worst part, it started off pretty weak. Only 10 minutes in, and the main cop already seduces and makes love to the lawyer. But there was really no time to build the relationship, so it comes off as quick and, well, uh, never mind. However, the second half was pretty solid now that we got past character introduction and can focus on plot. And that's where it becomes a fun little watch. Nothing special, and the ending was definitely rushed. Just watch. Great transition. A 3 out of 5. Birdcage. I was gonna make a comment on how it's called Birdcage, but it's only shown like 25 minutes in the whole 2-hour movie. But then, now, I don't know if this is true, but I think the title is actually a metaphor on how someone different, in this case, gay people, feel enclosed and trapped in a cage, a bird cage, because of the fact other people may look at them differently. True or not, that's a serious comment, by the way. I was thinking about that the whole time watching the movie. True or not, I like the thought of it. Anyway, it was very charming. The actor who plays Albert is just amazing, and Robin Williams is, well, what can I say? He's fantastic. I think the movie flaws mainly in pacing, in some areas where it could have been expanded more. I thought it was good, though. 3.5 out of 5. Black Hawk Down. As I said in the previous review, I'm not a big fan of the war genre. The same especially applies here. I don't believe this movie is widely considered a good movie, but I know it has its following. Either way, in my eyes, I see it as 2 hours of just shooting. I feel like there's no substance, I guess. There's obviously a plot where we follow soldiers, but I kept getting confused on who's who, especially on the war grounds, and it didn't really let me feel for the characters. Another thing, because this is based on a true story, and because of the issue I pointed out above, it almost feels like those reenactment scenes in documentaries, which, if you had to sit through the boring history classes that force you to watch those, I think you know what you mean. 2.5 out of 5. Blast from the Past. This is one of those movies I kept seeing on TikTok with the mobile gameplay on the bottom. So I wanted to watch it just for the idea of the movie alone, since I've only seen clips from them going into the shelter. Anywho, it was a very goofy movie, especially with Brendan Fraser, which, no offense to him, but he looks goofy. He's a great actor, but he's a very goofy looking guy. I love the premise. It's a super bizarre fish out of water plot. But if I'm being honest, I think the best moments are the shelter life. Don't get me wrong, seeing Adam trying to find a wife and Eve is in denial that she's in love with him, it's a very heartwarming and fun plot. But I don't think it plays out very well. It has its moments, but I see why it's stuck in the TikTok purgatory that is this. 3 out of 5.
What are you looking at?
Oh, my lucky stars! A Negro!
Say what?
How do you do, ma'am?
Blown away. I feel like this genre of movies were all over the place in the 90s. I was wondering how they were going to make it different from the usual man chases down unknown man from killing people. And well, they did do it with this pretty unique story on how the protagonist actually helped Tommy Lee Jones' character kill people with a bomb in the past. Although unique, they added in my opinion, a bit rushed in the movie. I feel like if the movie opened with a prologue on this whole plot that they were setting up, it would make it a lot cleaner. Instead, they just kind of shoehorn it in. The movie itself was very suspenseful, especially all the bomb scenes, and the explosions are, of course, fun. I don't think the script as in story is 100%, but it's an enjoyable watch. 3 out of 5.
They're not interested in money. It's like they're not normal.
Why the hell not? What's this story?
The Brady Bunch movie. Everyone in this movie is so goddamn horny. There's a Mrs. Robinson, a girl trying to grope Marcia. The parents are seen about to have sex like twice, and there's more after that. It's ridiculous. What's funny is the Brady Bunch is a product of the 70s, but the Brady Bunch movie is totally a product of the 90s, which I know it's the point. It's a really fun concept of the Bradys not fitting in with the decade that we're seeing them in. I just don't get why there's this underlying idea that involves the Bradys getting sassy nom-noms.
Jan, come back when you're pregnant. And girl, you better work.
Besides that, it was pretty cool seeing the original Bradys make cameos in the movie. The main criticism that I actually have is it's just one long sitcom, which, I mean, duh, it used to be a sitcom. But the idea gets boring fast. And I think the movie knows that too, because the whole plot is about making $20,000 to save the house. And then all of a sudden, they just make the money. Like, there was no risk at all. All the actors are great, including Chuck McGill, but the movie isn't all that on a bag of chips. 2.5 out of 5. Braveheart. Okay, let's get this one over with. So I'm not a big fan of long movies, especially when they're divided up into 2 VHS tapes, because I just know that it's going to be a long movie at that point. I was dreading watching this movie so much. This is the last movie that I'm watching of February. I skipped over this movie until the very end, just because I knew that I probably wasn't going to enjoy it. Now, someone might say, well, if you're expecting to not enjoy it, then you're gonna have that mentality watching the movie. And I genuinely watched through the whole movie, and I didn't like it. It wasn't very good. I think the only good part that I enjoyed was the big war scene when Scotland and England when they first battle. I thought that was a pretty cool scene, especially when they moon each other. I think it's a pretty good action scene, but like everything else, it's just, I don't know, I lost interest pretty fast, and that's about it. 2 out of 5. Buck Privates. Last month I was excited to watch Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein because I quite enjoy the 7 goes into 28-bit, although I was disappointed because it didn't really have that type of humor in it. Well, in Buck Privates, that's the whole movie. The whole movie is those kind of tricking the other character into falling for your scam joke, and then separated with musical numbers. It gets tiring pretty quick. There's nothing necessarily wrong with the movie, but the punchlines are predictable, and after 30 minutes, you're just kind of ready for it to be over. I would say 3 out of 5, but I enjoy Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein a bit more, so 2.5 out of 5. Cadillac Man. What a damn surprise of a movie. I really thought we were going to watch this guy try to save his job selling cars for the next hour and a half. But no. 20 minutes in, it becomes a hostage movie. A hostage movie. And a pretty good one at that. And my God, the chemistry between Tim Robbins and Robin Williams is just brilliant. It really made me feel for the characters. I thought it was great. The only thing that I was just really disappointed in, we never actually found out what happened to Tim Robbins' character, Larry. He gets shot, and then we never see him again. Does he survive? I mean, obviously he would go to jail, but I just want to know. I'm curious. 3.5 out of 5. Camp Nowhere. A fun little comedy which involved every parent in existence sending their kids to some kind of camp. It honestly got a couple laughs out of me. It was great seeing Christopher Lloyd fill out all these different kind of characters, and he does a great job doing it. Even the main 4 kids were great for being kid actors. I think the best way to describe this movie is I would have loved this movie when I was 12. I still enjoyed it nonetheless, especially the last 30 minutes. It was probably one of the better parts of the movie. It was very touching seeing the kids learn that their parents do in fact love them. It just comes together very nicely. 3 out of 5. Well, that's the end of February. Honestly, even though I enjoyed a couple movies, it was a lot of mid movies this month. None of them were, well, no, I guess a couple were pretty bad, but I mean, a lot of it was just nothing special. Either it was forgettable or I just didn't really enjoy it very much. But next month, it's a new chapter in our story to see what kind of movies we're gonna come across. So, we'll stay tuned for all the movies that we're gonna watch throughout March. Adios.